Could you imagine being booked in at the Matewan Magnolia Festival?
He's in the show business, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
That got some flair to him.
He says he's a Guinness World Record holder for having the most dirt bikes in a cage. Everyone's got to have their thing. Yeah, this
All right,
is huge.
man. That sounds pretty dangerous.
Well, I'm pretty dangerous.
Are you?
Yeah.
Let's start the podcast on that note. You're pretty dangerous. What? How so?
I live life on the edge, Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I recently took my wife and children on a hiking adventure, and I didn't do enough fact checking. And what I thought was a hiking trail was actually an ATV trail. And so at random times we would have to hide behind trees as these side-by-sides would go screaming past us on this dirt trail. And the kids would just shift. I'm doing more harm than good with these kids. I'll be honest with you. The state's probably going to take them.
What do you think, Joe? You think he's a dangerous guy?
It sounds like it. I mean, were you allowed to hike on it, or
I know there
did
was
it
no
say
signs
walking?
that didn't say. I think they probably just assumed no idiots would hike up this thing. It's 1,100 foot of elevation gain, so it was. I mean, it was a goat path. Side by sides were struggling to get up it, and I took my wife and children up this thing. But the view was unbelievable.
Pretty funny story.
Yeah,
I'm glad you're okay.
yeah, we made
Emma,
it.
Pearson, Danielle.
Yeah, the whole team
Was
made
Callie
it.
with you?
No, Lord, no. She would have laid down. That doodle's not made for hiking.
Okay.
Well, you know what? Let's start this podcast more professional. All right, we've sometimes we get out of control in here, but we have a special guest with us today. We need to recognize that, Jeff. We need to get ourselves together. Have your patriotic shirt on.
Happy 4th of July.
Yeah, this is a big 4th of July. Happy Cleveland Browns preseason about to kick off, so we're excited about that. But we have a special guest in the studio with us today, fresh from the state capital of Ohio, potentially the nation's capital one day. I don't know if they were going to centralize government into the states somewhere outside the DC area. I think they would pick Ohio.
I've actually heard it called the vice capital because that's what the treasury is. I'm not even kidding.
Really?
It's within like 600 miles of 90% of the population. Look it up. I mean, you can actually Google this.
This is true.
There is a plan that if DC something were to happen, then you can look at it. I was taught that in like 3rd grade state government class.
We teach that in Ohio.
Did you know that before?
I still don't know that I know it.
I'm not joking. You can look that up.
Yeah, no, I believe it.
Either that or Mrs. Wise is full of it.
Nice, wise.
How about that?
Yeah, think about that, huh?
Well, Columbus is a great place.
Well, it's a fantastic place. But in Columbus, if you're hanging out in Columbus, and you head over into western Columbus near the Upper Arlington, Ohio State campus area, you're going to run into a little place called Village Caregiving Columbus. And inside Village Caregiving Columbus, you're going to find this guy to my right. Who we got in the studio with us today?
My name's Joe Slattery.
Joe Slattery. Joe, welcome in, Joe.
Thank you.
You got a nickname?
Just Joe.
Okay.
Yep.
No nicknames at all? You can give us something from grade school.
No, my older brother, who's a year older than me, he was Slats. We still call him Slats. My dad was Slats, but I think because me and my brother were so close in age, there couldn't be 2 Slats that were only a year apart. So,
Well, that would make sense. What would you
Jolton Joe Slattery? Doesn't do it
went
for
very
you?
fast. No.
It's a pretty cool name.
Yeah, it is
though.
pretty sick.
Yeah. Slattery's a good name.
It is. It's not. Yeah. I mean, well, where I'm from, it depends. There's
Oh,
some
really?
rowdies. It's big family and some rowdy boys too. So.
Well, so the preliminaries, we'll get the stuff. So you're the director of operations at the Columbus office. You work there with
Hunter and Sarah Beth.
Okay, so Hunter's executive director, Sarah Beth is director of nursing. The three of you run Village Caregiving Columbus. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from a town called Hicksville, Ohio.
Hicksville, Ohio.
About 20 miles northeast of Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Wow.
Right on the state border.
It's hard to picture that, but yeah, Hicksville is way up there. You're hanging out there in the far northwest corner of the state. How did you end up in Columbus?
Well, after I graduated from Bowling Green,
Okay.
I was applying for jobs I basically applied for Toledo, jobs in Fort Wayne, and then Columbus. There was much more opportunities in Columbus, and I think I knocked out a couple interviews in one day and got some offers there, so decided to move that way.
Did you ever think you would end up in a major city?
I did not. I was pretty against it for a while. Even just coming down for a high state game, staying with family, you know, it's fun for that weekend.
Yeah.
But living there it was never. I'm from a town of 4,000 people. I've lived in quite a few places before that, but I never thought about a city. And then I moved here just for a job and thought it would be a couple years, get some experience, and live where I want. But I love Columbus. I'm surprised. I would never have thought that.
Well, it's just, I mean, it's probably, you know, a great city and a great state. That's
Maybe
pretty normal.
I think so.
So, yeah, a lot of people would agree with that. We get a lot of feedback on that. So, Hicksville, you grew up in the far north of the state. I grew up in the far south. I'm along the Ohio River. What's your favorite thing about Hicksville? What are they known for up there?
Well, Hicksville is not known for much. I do know that Ed Neidhart, who I used to work for his wife, he has the patent on the curly fry maker.
That is huge.
Yeah, Nemco Food, you can look that up.
Yeah.
Other than Nemco Food, which is only famous in Hicksville because they make like the hot dog rollers in the new Yankee Stadium. And I think we took a field trip there in school. That's
Wow,
how I know
you
this
should
stuff.
have.
But
Yeah, no,
anyway,
this is huge, man.
They make food. They make the cookie trays for Subway, I think, or something like that. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's about all Hicksville's known for is
Okay.
a couple inventions out of Nemco Food.
Did you go to Hicksville High?
I did. Went to Hicksville High School.
What is their mascot?
The Aces.
Look at that.
What's that mean?
Okay, well, why I say that is, I know you're like, oh, geez, what's the excitement of that? I was at the University of Evansville recently, and they are the Aces. And I was then in, get this, so why I know this is I had to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
And their merchandise store was right next to the bathroom. And I was like, the Aces, that's interesting.
Purple Aces.
Yeah. Fast forward a month or two, I'm in Williamson, West Virginia, at a restaurant eating. On the TV is the University of Tennessee baseball team playing the University of Evansville Aces. Evansville Aces beat the number 1 seed Tennessee Volunteers. And then he says, my high school mascot
called
was the Aces. Yeah, fun full circle.
Would you please tell him to calm down about this Evansville
I think it's exciting.
See?
stuff? Listen, I want to look at the camera and address something. Aaron is now very excited about Evansville, Indiana.
It's a great city.
You know, it's kind of like it's taken the place of Dollywood in his mind. It's the new thing.
Nothing.
If you'll go back, maybe you could clip this in. On the previous episode, we had a couple of very, very nice ladies from Bloomington, Indiana on. He says, where are you from? Or something like that. And they say Bloomington. And he goes, you ever been to Evansville?
Okay. Well, so you guys are in Bloomington. Have either of you ever been to Evansville, Indiana, by the way? Mm-hmm. What a great town. Will Ray is down there, the executive director of Evansville. I went and hung out there.
And then he just starts talking about how great Evansville is. And they're sitting there like, we're from Bloomington.
Yeah.
Now here comes Joe on from Columbus, Ohio, in Hicksville. And my God, he found a way to get back to Evansville again.
Tie it back in there.
Are they at least the Aces like on the cards? Or are they like a pilot, like an ace pilot? Because I've seen the mascots that are the Aces, and it's an ace. It's a pilot that's an ace.
I think
Are
they're the
deck of
card.
cards?
I
Okay.
think so. Could be wrong, but hey, let me ask you a question, dude. When you were a kid, or any time really, did you ever have a buddy named Evan?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you want to do with that?
Oh, okay.
You're just trying to blow his mind now. I mean,
Wait a minute. What a small world.
we'll come back to it.
Well, cool. So you go to high school at Evansville.
Hicksville.
Well, it's the same place, right? No. So did you
I'll tell
ever
you what,
want to?
Hicksville does have good school system because he knows everything about Columbus being the treasury, 600 miles,
I hope
90%
I'm right
of the
about that.
population. They took field trips to patented curly fry makers'
Sounds
houses
like a
or
great
whatever.
place, yeah.
I mean, it's better than the field trips. Actually, you know what? The best field trip we ever took was to Columbus, too, to COSI.
Oh,
Awesome.
what a great place.
We went to the one in Toledo. That's the coast side we went to.
I see.
Now, there's
Coast
more
Side's
than one COSI?
Yes.
I didn't even know this.
I know there's at least 2. I know there's one in Toledo and Columbus.
What's COSI stand for?
Center of Science and
I'll
Institute.
get to the bottom of this.
Center of
You guys
Science
don't have
Institute.
like a Joe Rogan Jamie back there to check?
That's
me.
That's him.
Okay.
Yeah, that's him.
I'm not as good as Jamie.
Did
Center of Science and Industry.
oh god, I was so close. You can lift a car there.
Gravity's different, or
Yeah. I'm just a lot stronger. I've been using protein.
that's 70. You know, he's doing 75 hard.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
He's on day, a 65.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so
It's a habit now, right?
Oh, I'm in. Yeah. I try to get me to not do it. You know what I mean?
It'd be tough at this point. I think if you had 10 days left, what it
Yeah.
would take to quit.
We were at a restaurant recently, and
Right.
there was wine available, and I was joking. I said, "Well, I may just get some. Today may be the day." And he said, "I would slap it out of your hands before I'd let you do something." I was like, "What a friend! It's
a good friend,
That is,
yeah.
yeah, it's a kind friend."
That close to the end,
Yeah.
I would be like, stop, don't do that. You would have to maybe
Yeah.
physically get me off of you to let
First
you
10
fail
days, maybe, be
Oh,
a
yeah.
friend and
Oh,
give them
yeah.
a little bit. But
Yeah, first
last
10
10
days.
days, you gotta.
Yeah, you're in a trial period. Those first, you're just saying, "Can I date this thing or not?" Right?
Yeah, I broke up with it in about day 3.
Well, cool. So you've been in Columbus. How did you end up at Village Caregiving? What led you here?
Well, Sarah Beth, I've always been in healthcare, especially elder care.
Okay.
Started out with an AL doing the marketing, and then ended up within a couple of months managing the facility. Not because of any, I wish I could say because I was a superstar, but process of elimination led me to, running that facility, just simply not quitting.
I see. You just survived.
Yes, exactly. And then actually an opportunity opened up at a nursing facility that I interned at in college, that they have facilities all throughout the state. So I ended up working, it's called Otterbein, worked for them doing admissions, and then later being their Medicaid specialist for a while. And just hearing Sarah Beth talk about her company that she just started working for and all the good stuff about it. And then her family and friends talking about it because they're
Yeah.
from here. So just with that, and then she told me about it, talked with Austin for a while, and I talked to you all during interviews, and
Yeah.
just I felt very lucky to know the right people and to be able to hop on the ship.
I got you. Yeah. I mean, we could spend some time talking about Austin. Like, when you think of words to describe Austin, sleepy, tired, sweater vest, right? I try to think of things. Anyone could jump in here. Jeff?
Good arm wrestler.
Oh God, he wore you out. Nearly killed you.
I arm wrestled him left-handed the other day, and it almost separated, I believe, my ribs from
Did
the
he-
cartilage of my sternum. It almost killed me.
Did he challenge you to it?
No, I challenged him.
Oh, I was gonna say because whenever anyone says, "Hey, you want to arm wrestle?" I just know they're about to whip my ass in arm wrestling.
Well, I don't have any.
Except for
Come to find out, that's not always the case.
I'm an exception to that rule. You want to do it? Dude, I can't do it. I'm going to hurt myself
I start
again.
saying, what is wrong?
You would definitely win. Don't worry about it.
I don't know. I'm a lot stronger than my brother, and he whoops me in arm wrestling.
Really?
I don't make any sense.
Well,
I don't get it.
What's his first name?
Jeff,
Jeff and Joe. What's your dad's name?
Greg.
Interesting. And you, no sisters?
I have 2 brothers, 2 sisters.
2 brothers, 2 sisters. So there's 5 of you. And where did you fall at in line?
4. Youngest boy, 4th kid.
Wow. That's interesting.
where are you going with this?
I don't know.
He's up to something.
I know. I'm just
Joe,
I'm going to bring it back around to Evansville somehow.
Yeah, I'm
that's
just-
what I was
yeah.
waiting on.
I'm just
something.
collecting information. Here's all I'm doing. Here's the thing about Evansville, number one. It just doesn't make any sense. It's a really great city in an area that makes no sense. But we'll continue on.
Okay.
I want to get a piece of their tourism actually.
We're not going to continue on. Let's just stay here. Let's talk about
we'll
it.
just stay in Evansville for a while. No, so so your experience in at Village Caregiving Columbus, you came with us, and at the time, the Columbus office had really been growing north. They've been stretching north, and done such a fantastic job that allowed for the Mansfield office to be launched out of that way. Through expansion, we have seen the Toledo office come born out of the Columbus office, right? I think if it wasn't for the presence in Columbus, which was, kind of that hub office, you wouldn't see Zanesville there. You wouldn't see Canton there. You wouldn't see the Cleveland market open. There's so many success stories that can be tied to the Columbus Village Caregiving office. You've clearly played a role in that. How long have you been with the company?
It'll be 2 years in August.
2 years in August. What would you attribute a lot of the success for out of the Columbus office? I mean, you guys clearly have an awesome team. You all get along great.
I would say people. I would say good hires. Although I like the idea of do the right thing and use common sense.
Yeah.
I think if you don't have the right people doing that, it doesn't work. I feel like I've heard Jeff or maybe someone else mention it. Yeah, we could take that group, us and Columbus, and we could have, opened up a hospital, opened up a pizza parlor, opened up whatever we could have opened up. I think that if you have the right people, you can do anything. And I think one thing that we've done is have the right people there and keep them around. So I think that's the key to anything, is having the right people.
Yeah. I can't disagree with that. I mean, you guys clearly are doing special things in that market. If we were going out of the home care business, what would you hope we went into? I always thought maybe a tire shop. I thought that'd be interesting.
Yeah, something, some business that definitely, something that closes at night. Like, after I got out of the nursing facility. After I got out of the nursing facility.
That is a man who's had the 24/7 phone.
Yeah.
And every village caregiving director is going to relate to that.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, yeah.
Something that closes at night. That is a classic answer right there.
I would maybe a bank.
Ooh.
9 to 5, get all those crazy holidays off.
Okay.
We got a lot of bankers that work at corporate.
This wouldn't be a hard transition.
I know that's what
No,
Emily
we'd be
did at
great at
Mansfield.
Yeah.
That's what who?
That's what Emily did at Mansfield. Her
Right.
and their DO did that.
So to all the bankers, both in the field and back at corporate listening, they're not going to like this, but they do have it pretty good. They get them old bankers holidays a lot.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even know if that's true. They probably just observe federal holidays like any other place. But I like to rag on them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of them.
Ben,
Yeah.
Corey, Kristen, Emily,
Adam,
Sally, Adam,
Amy.
Amy.
This is so bad. We have literally gutted the banking industry of talent.
Well, it's funny because they do a lot of employee engagement, customer relations, et cetera. It does translate pretty well.
I think if there's more.
Bank.
Eddie.
Open a bank.
Eddie.
Eddie Logan.
God. The banking industry.
If you worked at a bank, we're leaving you out. Sorry about that.
Not on purpose.
I know
There's just so many
gotta
of
be
them.
more. Right.
Well,
You ever thought about robbing a bank before?
yeah, of course.
How would you do it? Pull a note out that says, "Give me all your money." Or do you run in there with the whole ski mask and a gun?
I've always thought about train robbing. I know you can't do that anymore, but train robbing.
Rob a train?
Yeah, back in the Western days, robbing a train. I think that'd be the time to start robbing stuff, because no one's gonna know until that train stops. You can go any direction
That's true.
besides the one the train's going.
That's
A good old-fashioned train
Go
robbery.
fast train.
What a time to be alive.
I don't know
huh?
how you would get away with robbing a bank now.
Well,
I'm too identifiable.
I've listened to some bank robbing crime podcasts. That was pretty fascinating. And when they were robbing banks out like in California, that was pretty interesting. I think. Well, I'm just going to say it. Okay.
Yeah.
The real future in financial theft is clearly in digital.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean because you could swipe a credit card and get more than you're gonna get from the local credit union.
Yeah, you're gonna be a digital bank robber.
Yeah. Now we're getting because then that's dang near victimless crime.
So you're gonna become like a computer hacker, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're to the situation in your life where you're walking into the local credit union and saying, put your hands up, like that's not where you need to be anyways. Number one, there's a cash shortage in America. You're not going to leave there with much. You can't hardly get anything. There were times where they were out of coins. You know what I mean? It'd be like robbing a Wendy's at like 10 o'clock at night for food. Like they don't hardly have anything made.
Like
You've hit it at the wrong time.
right, rob a library.
Yeah. Like what are you going to leave with? So
$27.
yeah.
You in on crypto at all?
If you cut a lot of this, right?
Sure, we can.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever you need.
I was into it, and I had quite a bit of it, and I sold it way too early.
Oh.
And I would not be working for you guys if I sold it, if I kept it long enough.
Wow.
Yeah, I bought
You
some.
had that much of it.
Well, I mean,
it wouldn't take
back in
much.
2016,
Yeah.
10, $12 for a Bitcoin. Yeah.
Man.
Don't get me wrong. I bought a motorcycle with it. I have, I made money. So I wasn't like, and I made more money than any stupid person that threw it into crypto should have. But
Are you out completely on crypto now?
when
What if you went back in?
was it like 50 grand now? Yeah. After it's just like, it was to the point where like I lost sleep over it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 'cause,
you
I
want to
mean-
edit this out, or can we leave it in?
If you want, I mean, everyone I know knows this because they're like, my friends, my brothers, like, you idiot, what would you do? Why'd you sell that
oh,
stuff?
dude, enough
I
to
know.
lose sleep over. Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But you never know.
No, you don't.
You might have
I've been
just
an idiot. I've been a moron. I
got
would've-
rich,
yeah.
you got a boat, drove it into a rock, put your
Exactly.
head through it.
Exactly.
Just the way you got to look at life.
I would've.
I do that all the time. If I forget to get off an exit and make a wrong turn, or the light turns red, like unbelievably so many times in a row, all I say is, I was going to just die up there in a wreck if that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. That's,
Always find a silver lining.
I'm sure I would have been an idiot until it was gone. I was, oh gosh, I don't know, 22 when I bought that, 23. I don't know. I forget how old I was, but yeah.
You'd have more stuff to worry about, probably. I
Yeah,
mean,
more money, more problems, right?
that's what I've always said. Sometimes I just sing the lyrics to that song.
But I guess technically,
I don't think
wouldn't-
you can even talk about that anymore.
Let me ask you a question, Joe.
Joe, I've written 85 questions here.
Okay.
Yeah, those are custom Jeff Stevens written questions.
I typed them out.
Yeah.
Pick a number between 1 and 85.
50.
Oh. Middle of the road Joe is what they call him.
This is a good question. Good for the subject matter of the show. What have you learned from being in this field, home care, that people should know?
Probably two things. I would say two things. The first is your I don't say your bottom level worker, but our lowest level worker is a caregiver. The bottom of, I would say, the hierarchy. Even though they play the most important role, the bottom of the hierarchy. If I quit or got fired tomorrow, if you guys quit tomorrow, nothing really drastically changes day to day for our clients. If I get a caregiver that quits tomorrow, I could have someone laying there for days. So one, that even the person that's at the bottom of the hierarchy is sometimes the most important, and how to manage people. It's probably the most important thing I've learned in this job. You can't manage two people the same. Some people you have to wrap in bubble wrap. Some people you have to be a jerk, not a jerk to, but a little more callous with. But yes, my managerial skills in this job have completely changed. You can't treat everyone the same. You can't even have the same standard with everyone, as bad as that sounds, because every situation is different, every location is different. But yes, I would say your like I said, your lowest level of worker usually matters the most, is what's, because I maybe I was jaded, but I thought that like my work was, what I'm doing is super important. It's the most important. Well, if I don't go to work tomorrow, eventually that's gonna, snowball into something bad. But what's a lot worse if our caregivers don't go to work tomorrow? So that's probably,
Those are
I
two
don't-
great
I don't know
pieces
if-
of
I don't know if that
advice.
makes
Yeah, they're
sense or not,
fantastic.
but-
Yeah.
Number one, I couldn't agree more with. I've said this how many times around the office. Like, if we didn't even exist at corporate, I'm not sure. It takes a long time before it really shows up that hard. How important even am I?
Yeah, I haven't been there for 3 weeks.
Right. We didn't even know. We're kidding. But to your point, though, man, like, the caregivers are the backbone of the company, obviously. And they're so much more capable than one might suspect, right? Like, they don't really need managed that much. Certainly not from all the way up here at my level. I mean, I just feel like I could go away and that everything would be fine. And I'm trying to be honest about that. Number two, we've been talking about this so much lately. It's that there's a book. You might want to flash something up here. I don't know. I don't have the book with me, but it's called The Platinum Rule, and it will talk about how there's different personality types, but more so than that, different, world views that people perceive the lens through. It's called the platinum rule because it's one step above the golden rule. Familiar with this? So the golden rule is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. The platinum rule is do unto others as they would have you do unto them, because what you think they would like is nice and that's great, but really everybody's going to be so different that they don't value it the same way. So you take it a step farther. What would they have you do to them, right? And that's kind of where you're going with that. Platinum rule. Back to you. But no, it's a great answer, seriously.
Yeah.
Okay. Aaron, I'm going to ask you one now.
Oh, okay. 36.
What are you proudest of in your life? Why do we always...
What am I most proud of in
You
my
want
life?
to do a different one. I didn't mean to make it so personal. You want to go for 40? Do you have any regrets? Let's choose. Let me choose one. What's your favorite quote?
Oh, my favorite quote.
Aaron is a big quote guy.
Really? Yeah, I am a
his
big-
presentations always begin with a story or
Yeah.
a famous quote, and then he builds off of it. He's really good at that stuff.
I bet.
Yeah, actually.
Do you know, while he's looking this up, there was this one meeting where I started off. I don't know if you were there or not, because I don't remember where we were, if it was regional or a big one. And I started with this slide where if you go on PowerPoint and use one of the templates, the second slide is like a Neil Armstrong quote. And I just, for whatever the mood I was in that day, I was like, this is so corny. Like, they want me to to start here and do all this stuff. And I this is a long time ago, so I hadn't seen Aaron give any presentations. And I actually left the slide in. Is this a mean story?
That's fine.
I left the slide in just so that I could make it a point, be like, here's a quote from Neil Armstrong that apparently Microsoft wants me to incorporate into this talk today, but it didn't really feel right. I want it to be more authentic than that. So moving along. It was just a point to kind of be like, this is going to be very genuine and off the cuff, right? And then I felt so bad because Aaron gets up and his next presentation began with a quote just like that on the thing. And I was like, oh, no. I will find a way to stick my foot in my mouth, man. I swear.
Sometimes I think I'm the king
That
of
was
that.
so pure from the heart. I was really wanting to be relatable. And there we did it again.
Yep. You have to lead off with a quote.
Right. But I've now whereas he was right and I was wrong, is I've started similar presentations with a quote now too. So that's one of my favorite pieces of advice that I've been telling myself a lot lately. If I'm in a meeting and I can have super strong opinions about things and I'm just starting to get dug in on it and stuff, it's like, dude, chill out, because you know who might disagree with your opinion? Me, in like 3 years.
Yeah.
So calm down about it. I mean, that's really, I tell myself that all the time.
Yeah.
You got that quote up yet?
Yeah.
Is it from a Public Enemy song?
No.
Okay.
I'm kind of
He's
going back.
just picking something on
Yes,
the
he
spot.
is,
This isn't
yes.
even his favorite
He looked
quote.
at like the 100 greatest quotes ever.
Yes,
He's just
100% he
quotes them,
did. I just saw like 10 on this thing he's scrolling through.
Yeah, well, I was afraid I was going to misquote it.
Oh, I see. Can we take a guess? Is it that thing about the Mr. Clean commercial? Or
Oh, Mr. Clean gets rid of dirt and grime and grease in just a minute. Mr. Clean will clean your whole house and everything that's in it. Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. It's an odd thing,
Yeah,
right?
it's strange.
Yeah, it's fair.
what's the quote?
I don't really have one.
Oh my God. Do you have one?
I don't think so.
Do you have a favorite song lyric that resonates with you?
I don't think so. I mean, I like that's one thing I always thought was strange. Like, when people are like, oh, what do you think about when you hear this song? I'm like, nothing. I just like this song. Nothing really registers for most songs. I just like the way my ears like it. I don't know.
Do you have one?
I like,
Yeah.
actually, I like, I think Teddy Roosevelt said something about the man in the arena.
Yeah.
Something, I mean, I don't remember. It's part of a speech, but
Yeah.
basically the naysayers that don't, that's pretty good.
We should have a contest live when this goes out live.
Okay.
If you're listening to this, it'll be
Yeah.
a few weeks probably. Text me your favorite quote. We're going to pick a winner. We'll reveal it on the air, and the winner gets $100 gift card. There you go.
Wow.
Text it in. Best quote wins. See what we get. I mentioned Public Enemy because that is my favorite, I think, lyric from a song.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the warrior poet Flava Flav has
Yeah.
dropped this bit of knowledge.
Give it to us.
The line is, "Don't let a win get to your head or a loss to your heart."
Wow. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let that sit there for a minute. Joe, let me ask you a question. I knew there would be a time when you and I'd be together, and I'd be able to ask you this.
Okay.
Do you think it's okay to go to the store and buy a jar of baby food and eat it if you're an adult?
You're not talking like applesauce, right? You're talking like mashed up peas or carrots.
I'm talking
Gerber baby food.
Yeah, I'm talking you go to the baby food aisle.
I mean, I don't think there's anything illegal about it, but I think there's something fundamentally wrong with someone who would just go. I mean, unless, well, okay, we'll go barring some sort of health reason. Maybe, you have a chewing problem or something. Barring that, I don't see why a normal human would go buy baby food. Who bought baby food?
I don't think I can reveal it because I don't want to embarrass them or hurt their feelings, but I know someone that as an adult, I'm talking like 20s, okay, not 12. 20-some years old would just buy Gerber baby food and eat it. Liked
Off
it.
the shelf.
Liked it.
Do you think it's okay?
I don't know. It just blew my mind so much when I heard this. I had to get somebody else's take on it.
Yeah, well, Joe gave a hot take on
I
it.
mean, it's food.
He said there's something fundamentally wrong with that person.
That was strong, but yeah, I mean,
It's fundamental that that is wrong.
Yes, I mean, it's baby food for babies.
The
but,
building blocks of life,
yeah.
the fundamentals are when you become an adult, you don't eat baby food.
You can chew stuff.
I cannot think of a scenario where you would do that, but I was trying to think like if you had like some teeth pulled or something, you're like,
Yeah.
I got to get it in. I mean, but like to just be like, man, it's a Friday night. I can't wait to get me into something.
I mean, again, do what you want, but like if someone I cared about and loved was doing that, I would try to come in and help and see what the I'm piling on whoever that is. I need to hope they
Yeah.
don't work with us.
They do not work at Village Care Game.
Okay. Okay. Well, I feel better about that then.
You can go all in on them now.
Yeah. Psycho, but no, I'm just
Just
kidding.
a roast here.
Go ahead. Go in on them.
No, I'm not.
They did just get out of prison for murder, but go ahead.
Yeah, you can go now. It don't matter. Yeah.
Okay. You're a big sports fan. Mm-hmm. You play sports?
Yeah, I played
How
football.
tall are you?
6'4".
6'4". So you must have been a good athlete. Would you play
But
football?
I mean, I
basketball?
played everything growing up, but into like later in high school, it was just football.
What position?
I played tackle on offense, and then either nose guard or D end or linebacker on defense, kind of.
Same.
Pretty good. Shut up. Same. Could you imagine Joe would beat us to death?
Oh, let's move this table and see if we can get him on the ground.
What were you good at football?
Yeah, it's pretty
Good
good.
player.
Yeah.
Did you ever think about playing college,
I-
professional aspirations, anything?
I
like
mean, as a little kid, yeah. Of course, right? Everyone wants to be an athlete, and then
that? Yeah.
I didn't. I mean, I was just probably say average height until my junior year, and then that's when I realized I was bigger than most people. When I got to be a junior, but I remember we were at a 7-on-7 tournament, and they took a couple of us linemen to just be snappers and or centers, and Aaron Kraft was there. Remember Aaron Kraft? He played basketball for the Buckeyes, but he was also quarterback, free safety, played everywhere and I was just like, holy cow. That's what those next level. I mean, granted, there's there's a lot of levels of college ball, but anyway, I was just like, that was kind of reality check. Like that dude's my age, and he is, looks like a grown man, moving fast, all that stuff, and that was kind of like a holy crap moment. But then, I mean, as I got in my senior year, smaller colleges, sure, interest in that. But I enlisted in Army, so I was ready. I don't know. I think a lot of small town people are like, I want to get out of here, So I didn't give it much thought.
That's it.
I didn't want to go to college, actually. I probably wouldn't have gone unless it was free. So,
What was your time in the Army like?
honestly, I mean, it's pretty awesome being an 18, 19-year-old kid. I mean, you don't got to worry about much. You're already in good shape naturally. You're a young man. You're kind of just working with your boys all day and doing stuff that at the time sucks, but now you look back on it, you're like, I can't believe I got paid to do that, and I had a real positive. I know a lot of people, there's some tough times, some hard times, but I'd say overall, if anything, gives you time to grow up a little bit before you go into the real world. But I mean, I still got a buddy I see all the time, so I'd recommend it. If you guys are looking for a career change.
Does that make it even a little more special serving the veterans that we do?
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. It means, I can relate a little more. Some of them are some crusty old dudes, and so I can understand where it comes from, I guess, more.
Yeah.
Yes, it is more special. It helps. I think it helps me a lot, and it helps, I think, our office when there is something difficult and someone is being difficult. I can at least relate to at least a common experience, even if it happened for him. For me, it was a decade ago. For them, it might have been 6 decades ago. Mm-hmm. So at least a commonality.
I was thinking, we were at a restaurant recently, and a military service member walked in, and he had he was in full fatigues, but it said Special Forces on it. And you have I wonder, kill people. What's this guy capable of, right? And so we're kind of joking at the table. This guy looked like a trained machine. I mean, this wasn't someone you
special training could just be like a lethal weapon.
Yeah, it is not something you mess with, all right? So I joke, and I was like, well, I'd like to know if he's really earned that. And the guy that was sitting at the table said, boy, if he has, he will murder you. I was like, could you imagine from my wife and children? I accused this man, be like, I don't know that you're really Special Forces. And then he just takes my arms off of my body in front of my children. And then be like, well, nope, come to find out he is. Yep, he earned it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're at B-dubs. It takes a long time to get your food.
He'd probably give you a wet willy and push you out of the way and move on.
I don't think so. This guy looked like he would take my pulse. So
some of the veterans that we serve are there's a lot of different types. Some of them are really, really cool guys. Some of the best people I ever met in my life have been clients. Really impressive, deeply thoughtful, probably tough as nails, probably could tear your arms off.
Yeah, no doubt.
But great, great people. Do you find, this has been my experience, honestly, they're the ones that, risk their life to earn the service that we provide for them, right? And they're normally the absolute least complaining. They don't ask for anything. They don't need anything. I mean, by and large, and they've earned so much, but you just don't ever. They make it easy all the time, and they're so accepting. If mistakes happen, somebody doesn't show up, they're like, it's okay. Just send them by a Friday or something, and I'll make do. It's like. It's really cool to watch. It's special.
I think a lot of them, I think most people in general are nice people, but yeah, I mean, it's a service. I think they're appreciated for that service that the VA provides, that we provide everything. I think the vast majority, and I know that you guys know this, unfortunately, you only talk with, the people that do have the complaints, or the bad caregivers. That there are there's not very many of them, but unfortunately, you spend a lot of your time with them where you don't really get. I'd love to spend more time with the 90% that there is no issues with, but unfortunately, that doesn't get to happen too much because you're busy taking care of the other 10%. But yeah, I would say the vast majority of our veterans are really appreciate what we do, and they tell us that all the time too.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I always do. I make sure when I have a client that says, "Hey, this person." This caregiver, they're doing a great job, a wonderful job. I make the next thing I do is call that caregiver because one, I'll forget. Yeah. And two, I think it's very important that we do tell them that because it gets lost a lot, right? Yeah. It gets lost between care sheets, pay period, nursing assessments, all the logistic stuff, I think it does get missed on that. We're taking care of human beings, and these people that are taking care of human beings are doing a hard, nasty job. So whenever that happens, I try immediately to call that caregiver. And if I don't get through them, at least shoot them a text saying how appreciative not only that client is, but I am too. Because that makes my life easier.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it is cool when you hear this, because like you said, sometimes all you hear is not the good things, right? And it's so nice to hear the positives of it. So,
Joe, I'm gonna make you give us some football predictions, but before that, anything that you want to leave us with today? Things we didn't give you a chance to talk about, or
No.
words of wisdom for the people listening?
I don't got any words of wisdom now.
wow.
Who is going to win? I'm writing this down.
Okay.
I'm going to hold you to it.
Okay.
Who's going to win college football playoffs this year?
The Buckeyes. Book that.
You a huge Ohio State fan?
Yes, I am.
You know where I went to school?
Kentucky.
Uh-huh. You remember what I remember about Aaron Kraft? Brandon Knight just jaying in his face whenever we beat him in the Sweet 16 in 2011.
That's how he does things.
Yeah.
Continue on.
That wasn't very nice. Sorry.
Continue on. Craft
Super
somebody.
Bowl.
Oh.
Okay, I've been a Browns fan way too long. I know better.
Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. But gosh, wouldn't it be something?
I feel bad now for that comment about Kentucky.
It's okay. I mean, you guys are a basketball school, so you gotta, or maybe not anymore, but you.
Yeah,
you
back
know,
then,
like
though.
I know basketball to be all like that. That's your.
It's not the smartest time to start talking trash as a Kentucky basketball fan. We lost our coach. We basically sucked for 5 years. So there. I'll own some of our own misery.
You guys are
That's fine.
swinging back
Yeah,
up.
you
though.
gotta.
That's right.
You can't.
What do you think about Mark Pope going to UK? You know, do you follow basketball?
Was it
much?
the Iowa State coach? No, it's not.
He
Iowa
was
State.
at
Where was it?
BYU.
BYU. Honestly, I mean, I follow Big Ten basketball just because of the Buckeyes, but I was shocked. I figured Calipari could just ask. I mean, he had a lifetime contract, right?
Yeah.
So it was his choice to leave.
He left to go to Arkansas and get a fresh start. I think that's probably best for him.
That's tough. I mean, it's like I know that my brother lived in Pikeville for a while, and huge Kentucky fans everywhere. It's Kentucky, and there's no NFL, no NBA, no MLB, no hockey, no nothing. It is Kentucky basketball, and that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
That obnoxious comment I made is indicative of Kentucky basketball
No,
fans. I'm
well,
just going to be a real.
yeah.
We're pretty obnoxious.
They better
Yeah.
hope they don't run into the Evansville Acers.
Acers. I didn't go here whenever the Bloomington ladies were on last week.
Okay.
Because that does get serious. If you're an IU
Yeah.
fan in UK, it's no playing around.
Well,
Ohio State, no bad blood.
yeah,
with Ohio
Super
State.
Bowl prediction.
Super Bowl predictions.
Give me the Niners. Will finally do it.
This is the time for the Niners. Okay.
Wow.
Aaron, who you got?
I would. No, gosh, no.
That's a scarred man.
No, I know. That's I said. I know better than that.
Gosh, no. He's wearing a Cleveland Browns shirt.
Yeah, it would be adorable if it did happen, but
It
it's
would
not
be
going to happen.
the harmless Browns.
You know what? I'm going to make a bold prediction this year. I think that this is the year for Miami.
Okay,
Wow.
I thought you were going to AFC North, and I was going to be like, "What are you doing, man?"
Okay, Dolphins. What about college? Who's even supposed to be good this year? What's top five kind of look like?
It's going to be Buckeyes, Georgia, Oregon will be the top three probably.
What's going to happen to Bama now? They're always going to be good, but are they elite good still?
I don't know. They were there were some bad years between Bryant and Saban, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think now they're almost. I think they're at the point where they might be too big to fail. I have no idea. I don't remember Bama before Saban. So
I think it would be a safe bet to say Georgia wins it.
We got UGA, Ohio State, 49ers, and Dolphins. All right, we're going to kind of return to this
Okay.
at some point.
Yeah, well, that's man. We got a full sports year ahead of us, don't we? I mean, we're about there.
The Chiefs and Mahomes have just entered like you just can't pick against them. It's like Tom Brady. You just hard to imagine them winning every year, and they won't. But like, you might as well just pick it.
well, I don't know if I saw it online or heard it on ESPN or something, but I forget the last quarterback to lose their first Super Bowl and ever make it back but I believe it was before Jim Kelly. I think Jim Kelly, I think if I remember correctly, was the last quarterback to lose a Super Bowl and make it back, which is not good for my Niners pick.
The losing team
Yes,
in the
correct.
Super Bowl
Yes,
normally
whoever
falls
lost,
off a cliff.
that quarterback, whoever loses, if he loses his first Super Bowl, has not made it back since Jim Kelly, if I remember that correctly.
You know, I'm a Bills fan.
Yeah, you picking them?
Absolutely not. I think that this is the year, honestly. I actually think Cleveland has a really good team. The Bills, I don't know, man. I'm super worried about the Bills. I think there's a chance that they're like bad, like win 6 or 7 games bad. I don't know. They lost Poyer and Hyde in the secondary. They're depleted in multiple areas. I don't even know who they're going to throw the ball to. Gabe Davis gone. Stephon Diggs gone. They got some rookies. Like it could be rough. I'm not joking. I'm very concerned.
Is their defense still put together? That's the most important part.
Their secondary is gutted. The linebacking core's okay. The line, they haven't been able to get to the quarterback. That's probably the reason they haven't won a Super Bowl in this peak area. Like the year that the Bucks beat Mahomes, right? That's like was that the same year where we lost in 13 seconds left? Mahomes ties the game up when it was over.
When they changed the overtime rules after that season?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the Bills' thing is that they could just never get to Mahomes. And the Bucks were just on him the whole game. That's the whole difference. So I don't know that we can do that either. It could be rough. Bills Mafia, I'm concerned.
We have room for you over in Cleveland. So
I might have to get a secondary
team.
team.
There's very similar fan bases. I mean, Buffalo's had more success recently, but people that like to just get after it in the parking lot.
If as a Bills fan gets frustrated and switches to the Browns, he's even dumber than I might think. I mean, when you just love misery.
Yeah.
That's when you got a car just keeps breaking down. You go get another one.
Right.
It just keeps breaking down.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm out of football.
Yeah.
Thanks for.
We better stop. Yeah. Well, Joe, we've enjoyed it. Appreciate you making the trip down from
awesome.
The nation's next capital. And we end all these with a cheers. If you want to grab your cup.
Cheers, buddy.
Yeah. Cheers, man.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yep.